What if first contact is not only prepared by spacecraft, but by a shift in human consciousness itself? According to the Akasha-Interviews, an invisible process may already be underway that opens more and more people to the idea of extraterrestrial life. This video explores how our thinking, our societies, and even our perception of reality could begin to transform. Hello, my name is Frank Harfer, and in the Akasha-Interviews I work as an information medium, documenting and publishing questions and answers about consciousness, humanity, and our place in the universe. With that said, let's turn to the question. Entry A, 275. What happens to our society once first contact has taken place? Part 3. Once humanity has acknowledged that intelligent extraterrestrial life exists, it may already have discovered the markers that we have described, or it may have arrived at this realization through logical conclusions. Whatever has led to this, it will change the way people live together, because the knowledge about it will unite the people on the planet. If that were not the case, first contact would not take place. When the spacecraft have taken their positions in the sky, first contact can no longer be stopped. Until then, many options are possible that can delay first contact. But no matter how often this first contact might be postponed, one day it will take place, because all preparations for it have already been made. What exactly do we mean by that? If you see the spacecraft in the sky, they have already been present in your solar system for a very long time, and we will reveal to you that these spacecraft are already near the Earth, but they have very advanced cloaking methods. They have not only been there for a short time, but for quite a while. In these spacecraft, a lot is happening, because all beings there are preparing to carry out first contact with the Earth. They are working diligently to ensure that the humans of Earth develop the frequency pattern for the recognition of intelligent extraterrestrial life. The beings on the spacecraft observe the events on Earth in order to assess where they can provide support. What do we mean by that? The extraterrestrials are not allowed to intervene directly in the lives of humans, but they are allowed to support humans. This could proceed as follows. If leading figures on Earth have a large reach among you humans, these leading figures could be convinced that intelligent extraterrestrial life exists. If the leading figure has developed this frequency pattern, but the ego is still very strong within them, this leading figure would unconsciously cause all other people who think about them to also unconsciously produce the frequency pattern for intelligent extraterrestrial life. Even if these leading figures never speak publicly about this topic, they will nevertheless stimulate the frequency pattern for the recognition of intelligent extraterrestrial life in all other people. This has already been happening on your Earth for several years, because a few years ago this phase was initiated for your Earth. Many people are also brought by the spiritual world to think about this topic in order to develop this frequency pattern. But everything began in the last decade, and since that time, the gigantic spacecraft have also been present in your solar system, because this first phase has already started. You see, in fact, it has already begun in secret. Now, it depends on each human being to integrate this frequency pattern into their frequency spectrum and thereby stimulate it directly in other humans, so that the obvious signs for first contact can appear. People will interact with one another more calmly, and this has to do with the fact that they recognize that their life bubble is much larger than they previously assumed. What do we mean by the term life bubble? You humans of Earth live in a familiar environment with people you know, and you repeat every day the things you need for living. This is generally defined by us as a life bubble, or also an existence bubble. If a person spends their entire life in this life bubble, you would call it an orderly and calm life. We call something like that boring, but our opinion does not matter here. If one day a person expands their life bubble because they pursue a new hobby or gain new friends, They also expand their horizon of experience because many new pieces of information will change them. We say that the person develops and generates new moments in their inner universes that allow them to grow and gain more power. The more inner universes they generate through new moments, the more they will grow and other people will recognize it, because this person appears increasingly calm and wise. This person has expanded their life bubble, and at the same time they have grown and outwardly appear increasingly calm and wise. When people can publicly discuss the topic of intelligent extraterrestrial life without being discredited by ego-driven leading figures, then all people will expand their life bubble, and they will appear outwardly calmer and wiser. When this happens, these people will automatically treat one another just as calmly and wisely, and your crimes and wars will become fewer and fewer because these people have grown. This will also happen with you without needing your so-called experts. It would even be helpful if these did not exist, because then humanity could develop much faster and form the corresponding frequency patterns. But the ego-driven leading figures will still try for a long time to influence public opinion. So if you are already convinced that intelligent extraterrestrial life forms must exist, then you are already helping right now so that all other people will one day develop this frequency pattern, even if you never speak about this topic. However, if you do speak about it and encounter a skeptic, always remember that one day this skeptic will be just as convinced that intelligent extraterrestrial life forms must exist as you already are today. The skeptic will often think about your conversation, and in doing so, your developed frequency pattern will ensure that the skeptic's frequency spectrum also develops this frequency pattern. That is why you can remain completely calm in these conversations, because you know that it will not take long until the skeptic becomes someone who would like to believe that intelligent extraterrestrial life exists, because they cannot do anything other than acknowledge it. And now, you also know why that is so. This entry, along with many others, is available on my website. The content is published in German, but modern browsers make translation straightforward. You'll find a direct link to this blog entry and further helpful information in the video description.